also put some things forward. Can you give us more of an idea of what the contents of the Russian memorandum are, just the facts of the document?
Yeah, Max, you need to understand that I will be very limited in what I can say because, as you said, we just received the document. If we have received it earlier, we would study it, and I would be ready to tell you now, okay, its points are acceptable, not acceptable, or what.
What are they? We don't know what they are.
We didn't know. Look, Max, we didn't know what they are.
But can you tell us what they are?
Until few hours ago, look, because it's a very serious matter because we're trying to achieve peace here. And it's very, I mean, I cannot improvise, because words matter, and we need to study. We need to look into the document.
Can you read it out loud? You know, your document is public.
This is the problem.
We just want to know what's in it.
We shared our document. We can speak for it. We shared it with the Russian side last week. And moreover, because you all probably read a lot of items of this document already in the press. This is how our world functions, that everything is in the press. But you can clearly see, I think even from these leaks, that our document is very rational, it's logical, it doesn't put forward any demands that are not doable, that are go beyond what is required for the normal peace process. I mean, you can clearly see this is a normal document, our document. As to the Russian document, we will need to have a look at it and be sure that we will provide evaluation when we are ready to do that. It would be irresponsible for me to improvise now and give assessments of this document. Again, we will look into it, analyze it, and get back to you with more clear evaluations. Yes. No, sorry, I promised. Yes.
Larina Willinger from German public broadcaster ARD. My question would be, could you describe us a little bit about the atmosphere today that has been set up during these conversations? And my second question would be, do you think the future talks will stay here in Istanbul under the role of the Turkish government? And what's your demand from European leaders? Thank you very much.
Okay, the first one on the atmosphere. The atmosphere was different in different moments of this meeting. The Ukrainian delegation, when it comes into the room with a Russian delegation, is always ready for any types of statements coming from the Russian side. Believe me, we are prepared. We're not the first day in this business. We've been having talks with the Russians for many years, even before 2022, and we know the type of statements they can voice. What I can tell you for sure is that the Ukrainian delegation was bringing the issue and bringing the discussion back to the topics which are the priority for the Ukrainian delegation, which is the ceasefire, humanitarian confidence-building measures, the return of our prisoners of war, children, and then the meeting of the leaders. Because we think that this is the real points. We can talk for a long time about any, big issues, but in the end, the peace process starts with the basics, and the basics is the ceasefire, humanitarian confidence-building measures, and the meeting of the leaders, which can kick off a real, meaningful, substantial peace process. We think our position is not, is very logical. I mean, it's very natural and logical. On what the second one was, yeah, the platform. Look, we never had any problems with any platforms. The Ukrainian side has always been very clear that we are ready to meet in Turkey, in the Holy See, in Switzerland. So there are many platforms. We don't have problems with the platforms. Unfortunately, it's the Russian side that wants to, pick platforms, dates, and so on and so forth. Again, our delegation came here because we are committed to peace, because we will never allow anyone to accuse us that we are an obstacle to peace. We are not, and we use every opportunity, however small, to advance the process. As to the European leaders and what we expect unity in Europe, and we expect strengths. This is why, for example, Minister Sibiha was taking part in EU Foreign Ministers' Council recently. He was talking with his foreign minister's colleague. And President Zelensky, by the way, today, takes part in important formats with the European leaders. We insist that the pressure on Russia must be maintained and strengthened even as the diplomatic and peace process goes on. We think it does not contradict each other. Actually, pressure helps. Pressure actually stimulates a constructive approach from the Moscow side. I would say this is the priority thing. But then it needs to come, the economic pressure on Russia needs to come together with military assistance for Ukraine. It needs to continue, and we need to continue strengthening Ukraine, because again, for Russia to negotiate and in good faith and be serious, it needs to understand that it cannot achieve military victory or results. It needs to understand that Ukraine is strong enough, and we need to be in a strong position. Yes, let's go to the left side, you, and then behind. But first, yeah, the second row.
Thank you very much, Lisa Vogt from the BBC. I wanted to ask you if during those talks the Russian delegation mentioned the strikes on Russian air bases that happened yesterday, and do you think those strikes had any influence on the talks today whatsoever, maybe on the atmosphere in the room? Thank you very much.
Not to my knowledge, but I'll need to talk to delegation. I only know some basic things that they've been able to tell me when we came out of the room, because we immediately rushed to this press conference. I will talk to them and find out, and we will get back to you on this, how was it a topic or not during the negotiations. I didn't hear it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. But regarding the context, I mean, the war goes on, and I can only reiterate that first, Ukraine targets legitimate military targets in Russia, and secondly, Ukraine agreed to a ceasefire on March 11. And if Russia agreed to a ceasefire, I guess the planes would be intact right now. Please, your colleague behind.
Thank you very much from China's Xinhua News Agency. What do you think is today's biggest breakthrough for today's talk? Could you tell us the biggest breakthrough for today? Secondly is, could you tell us the details of the prisoners exchange for second time? Could you confirm the details of the prisoner exchange with Russia the second time?
Okay, thank you for bringing the discussion back to constructive and positive mood. The greatest outcome we think today is, again, on the humanitarian issues, the same way as it was last time on May 16th on the meeting in Istanbul, and the return of our people. So delegations, as you heard previously, the members of the delegation, they agreed to exchange all for all certain categories of prisoners of war, which are severely sick, severely wounded prisoners of war. Also the young soldiers, 18 to 25 years, the youth that needs to be home, not in captivity. And the return of the bodies of the fallen soldiers to let their relatives commemorate their loved ones. So we think these humanitarian issues are very important for us. For Ukraine, there is, I'd say, no greater value than human lives. And if a meeting lets us bring back some people, any number, then we think it's a success. It's already a success. It's already worth it. And it was the case back then when we agreed 1,000 for 1,000, and it's the case now. Why we focused on specific categories, not figures, this is important. All for all principles inside these categories. But this is important because we can release those who need this the most. And we think it's already a success. Yeah.
But you will also release the prisoners of Russia, right? So it's
yeah,
like
of course. We're
also
talking,
like the exchange.
Yes. Yes, we have the release, which is, yes, of course, we get back our people, they get back their people, of course.
So there's no certain figure, number you don't want to mention?
The teams will be working to elaborate on a specific number because look, we are talking about a category, yes? There needs to be some work done to find out how many of the people there, and the figures will be made public then.
But it will be more than last time?
It's hard to tell for me right now because, again, the work needs to be done by the teams to find out the number. And we're not, this time it's not about the numbers, it's about the categories. So all of the prisoners of war who are severely sick and severely wounded need to be exchanged. To the left back there, and yes, to the colleague in the, yes. And if some American media is here, because last time some American TV channel said, you didn't give us the platform. I want to give you the platform now. So if anyone from the American media, no, not you. But okay, let's start here, yes. Sorry, you next, yes. Please. Please.
You also mentioned that there was some discussion about a leaders meeting. This obviously seems very unlikely, but how did the Russian side respond to this? Presumably they want the process to take place and some terms to be agreed on in advance, no?
Look, I understand that the Ukrainian side is pretty open in the communication with media, and we tell whatever we are asked for, and that's why I'm standing here and answering all of your questions, whatever they are. And I understand that the Russian side is not that open, and that's why you ask, like, you're not the first one to ask me what the Russian side thinks, what it responds. I cannot speak for them. Like, you need to also understand that I cannot speak for them regarding these issues. I think that they will have a sort of a press conference probably. So try asking them what they think. Our president is ready to meet tomorrow. If Putin said, I'm ready to meet tomorrow, President Zelensky would meet him tomorrow. There is no problem. We don't have a problem with that. Unfortunately, the problems are on that side, and you need to ask what the obstacles are. I promised, I know we are short of time, I promised, yes, please. The last one, yes. Please, the last one. Yeah, and I'll go. You can ask, actually, I will hear you.
About the figures about the children.
Yeah.
You said you have a long list when I quoted you. Do you have any figures about that? How many? And you said also that you know where they are. So if it must be precise.
Yes, we are talking about children which are both in Russia itself and in the temporarily occupied territories. The list is a few hundreds. I cannot name the specific number, and there is a reason why we keep it a bit vague. And we hope that the progress can be made on this specific item because our children are non-negotiable, as we said many times. I will need to go because the people there are really... Last one, okay. Last one, I promise.
Ses deneme.
If I could get everyone's attention for now, we will kindly ask you to make your way towards the garden area, please. That is the current program. If you could kindly make your way towards the garden area outside, we would really appreciate it. For their turn.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, hey. Sound check. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeterli mi arkadaşlar? Sound check. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeterli. Teşekkürler. Sound check. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey, hey. Sound check. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tamam. Teşekkürler.